I'm 84 years old. My husband Walter died 8 years ago. 6 months ago, I found a wooden cigar box on a shelf in his workshop. Inside were 14 black notebooks I did not know he had been keeping for 52 years. What he wrote in them has changed everything I thought I understood about love, about marriage, about the man I slept beside for half a century, and about myself, which is the part I did not see coming. He wrote something on the first page of the first notebook. 2 months before we were married, in December of 1964. I'm going to read it to you, but not yet. I'm going to read it at the end of this video, because I need you to feel it land. Before you know, it is the thing. This is not a story about secrets. Walter did not have any. This is a story about what happens when you live next to a quiet person for half a century and never once ask them what they are actually thinking. And the reason I am telling you, instead of taking it to my grave, is because there is a quiet person in your life right now. You know who it is. You have been assuming for years that you know what they are thinking. You do not. I am 84. I am selling the house this spring. I have something to tell you before I go. Let me put you in the day. The first Saturday of October, last fall, my son Daniel had driven up from Petoskey to help me start clearing Walter's workshop. I am selling the house in the spring. Walter has been gone since 2017. The workshop had not been touched in 8 years. Daniel found the box on the top shelf behind the table saw. A wooden cigar box, Dutch Masters, the lid darkened with age. He handed it down to me. He said, "Mom, I think these are Dad's." I opened it on the workbench. Inside were 14 black moleskin notebooks, the kind with the elastic band around them, stacked in order. The earliest one had a date on the spine, 1964. The last one, March of 2017. I thought they were job logs. Walter was a structural engineer. He took notes at every site for 50 years. I had seen him write in small black notebooks at the kitchen table on Sunday afternoons for our entire marriage. I told Daniel I would go through them later. He went home Sunday morning, Sunday night, the kitchen, after dinner. I opened the first one. The first page was dated December 28th, 1964, 2 months before we were married. The handwriting was Walter's. I read 3 sentences. I closed the notebook. I sat at the kitchen table for the rest of the night without moving. Here is the version of our marriage I told myself for 52 years, so you understand what I had built in my own head. Walter and I met in Lansing in 1963. He was 26. A structural engineer at a small firm. I was 21 with a teaching certificate in piano. We married in February of 1965. We moved to Traverse City in '68 when his firm took on lakefront homes. He worked Monday through Friday, home by 5:30, read the paper until dinner, asleep in his chair by 9. Saturdays in the workshop. No hobbies I would have called hobbies, no friends I knew well. He did not talk about his work. He did not talk about much of anything. I taught piano in the front room. 3 days a week, 12 students an afternoon. I played for the Methodist Church on Sundays. I ran the school music boosters for 14 years. I hosted both sides of the family for Thanksgiving until Walter's mother passed in '86. I talked. I was always talking. To the children, to the students, to my mother, to Walter, to anyone who would sit still. And I had a story I told myself about my marriage. Quietly. I never told anyone, not even my sister Eileen, who would have understood it. The story was that I was the alive one, that Walter was steady, decent, a good provider, a good father, a man I loved. But the warmth in our house, the social fabric, the life, came from me. He had picked a vivid woman. He was content to live next to her vividness. That was the arrangement. I would catch myself talking too much at dinner and stop mid-sentence. I would put down the piano lid early on Saturdays so he could read in peace. I would apologize for inviting too many people. I would say, "I know I'm a lot." And Walter would say every single time, "Margaret, you are exactly right." I heard those words for 52 years as patient tolerance, the voice of a man who loved his wife and had stopped trying to argue with her. I felt guilty about it every time he said it. I was wrong about every minute of that arrangement for 52 years. 3 people across 3 decades tried to tell me that my husband had a life I did not know about. I did not let any of them finish the sentence. The first was Walter's mother. Christmas dinner, 1973. Walter's parents had driven up from Lansing. Helen was at our dining table with the carrots in front of her. She looked at our daughter Karen, 8 that year, and she said, "Margaret, I had a daughter who would be 43 this year. I have not said her name out loud since 1948. Please, be careful with Karen." I thought she was being cryptic. I assumed she meant Karen should be careful crossing the street. I poured more wine. I changed the subject. Walter excused himself, went outside for 20 minutes, and came back in and ate his pie. We did not speak of it. The second was a man at Walter's funeral. October 2017, a retired engineer who had worked at Walter's first firm in Lansing in the 60s. He came up to me at the reception. He said, "Margaret, I am so sorry. He told me once, only once, in 64, that he had lost his sister to polio. He never said her name. I have wondered for 50 years what her name was." I told him I did not know. I changed the subject. I handed him a cookie. The third was my own son. Daniel was 23. Walter was at the office. Daniel and I were in the kitchen, and Daniel said, "Mom, does Dad have a sister?" I said, "No, sweetheart. What makes you ask?" Daniel said, "There's a photograph in his workshop drawer, a girl in a white dress. I asked him about her. He said it is no one." I told Daniel he must have misunderstood. I told him to leave the workshop drawer alone. We never spoke of it again. 3 sentences, across 40 years. I let every single one slide off me because I had a story about who my husband was, and the story did not have room in it for a sister. Stop the video if you can. I want you to think of one person in your life. You know who it is the moment I say it. The quiet one, the one who never demands anything, the one who is always there, but never quite takes up space the way the loud people in your life do. Maybe it is your husband, your wife, your father, your grown son, the brother you call once a year, the friend who has been beside you for 30 years and has never asked anything of you. Ask yourself one thing. In the last 10 years, when is the last time you actually asked them what they were thinking? Not, "How was your day?" Not, "Did you have a good week?" I mean a real question. A question that requires them to stop and look at you and tell you what is in their head. I had been married to Walter for 52 years. He did not ask me to be different. He did not complain. He read his paper and went to the workshop and was a kind man at every meal we ever ate. And I had assumed, for half a century, that there was nothing more in him to ask about, because if there had been, surely he would have said something. That is the lie I am going to undo for you in the next 8 minutes. Quiet people do not say. They wait. And when you do not ask, they stop expecting that you ever will. The person you just thought of has been waiting, maybe for years, maybe for the whole time you have known them. They have not stopped waiting. They will not until the day they die. Walter did not. He waited 52 years, and then he had a stroke on a Wednesday morning, and the question I never asked him went into the ground with him. Sunday night, the first Sunday of October, the kitchen was clean. Daniel had driven back to Petoskey that morning. The cigar box was on the breakfast table, the 14 notebooks beside it in a stack. I opened the first one because I thought it would be a job log, because I needed a small task to end a long day, because Daniel had asked me at breakfast what I was going to do with the box, and I had not yet decided. The first page was dated December 28, 1964, 2 months before our wedding. The handwriting was Walter's, the same handwriting that signed our checks for 50 years, the same handwriting that wrote milk bread butter on the back of an envelope every Saturday morning of our marriage. I read the first 3 sentences. I am not going to tell you what they were yet. I told you I would read them at the end. I am keeping that promise. But I will tell you this. I sat at the kitchen table for the next 4 hours. I did not turn on the radio. I did not get up to make tea. I did not call my sister. I read the first notebook cover to cover, then the second. I made it to 1971 before my hands started shaking, and I had to stop, because by the third notebook, dated 1969, I'd learned 3 things about my husband that I did not know. After 52 years of marriage, I learned that Walter had had an older sister named Ruth. She had died of polio in August of 1948. She was 14. He was 11. He had never told me. He had been carrying her for 69 years. I learned that the silence in the Hollis house after Ruth died had nearly destroyed him as a boy. His mother could not speak Ruth's name. The house went quiet for 20 years. Walter wrote in 1972, "I am still trying to learn how to be inside a room where someone is allowed to make noise." And I learned that he had chosen me, Margaret, on the second date for exactly the reason I had spent 52 years apologizing for. He had heard me talking in the parking lot of a Lansing diner in October of '63 to a girlfriend about a piano student who could not be made to practice scales. He had written that night, "I have found a woman who fills a room. I'm going to ask her to marry me if she will have me, because I cannot live in a silent house again." I closed the third notebook. I put my forehead on the kitchen table. I sat there until almost 2 in the morning. Here is what I understood, sitting at the kitchen table that Sunday night, with the third notebook closed in front of me. I had not been carrying our marriage. He had been carrying me. The noise I made, the talking I had apologized for to myself for 52 years, was what Walter had been waiting for his entire life, because the silence after his sister died had nearly killed him as a boy, and Margaret talking about nothing in the kitchen at 6 in the morning was the cure. Let me tell you what I learned about Ruth. She was Walter's older sister by 3 years. She played the violin. She was the loud one in the Hollis family, the one who told stories at dinner, the one who sang on Saturday mornings, the one who picked fights with their father. In August of 1948, she came home from a swimming pool in Lansing with a fever. 3 weeks later, she was dead. Walter's mother, Helen, put Ruth's clothes in a trunk in the attic and did not open it again. She did not allow Ruth's name to be spoken at the dinner table. Walter's father, Frank, took a second shift at the plant and was gone 5 nights a week. For the next 20 years, the Hollis house had 2 people eating dinner in silence. Walter wrote in 1972, "I do not remember the sound of my mother's voice between 1948 and 1963. I have tried. I cannot recover it." He left for college in 1955. He came back twice a year. He moved to Lansing in 1960 for the engineering job. He kept his own apartment as quiet as the house he had grown up in, because that was the only way he knew how to live. And then, on a Tuesday in October of 1963, he was eating a sandwich in his car in the parking lot of a diner in Lansing, and a young woman came out the side door talking loudly to her friend about a piano student who could not be made to practice scales. He watched her stand in the parking lot and fill it with sound for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, the friend laughing, the woman gesturing, and he wrote that night that he had found the cure. He spent the next 52 years living next to the cure. He never told the cure what she was curing. He thought, and this is the part I have not been able to put down since I read it, he thought she would not want the job. Here is the why I promised you, the real one. It would be easier if I told you Walter was a complicated man who hid his suffering and tolerated his loud wife. That is the consoling version. It is not the truth. The truth is that I was the simpler one of the 2 of us, not him. For 52 years, I lived inside a story I had written about my own marriage before we had even left the church. The story said, I am the alive one. He is the quiet one. He chose me because he likes my noise. I will try for the rest of my life to be a little less. I did try. I would catch myself talking and stop mid-sentence. I would close the piano lid early on Saturdays. I would apologize for inviting too many people. I would say, I know I'm a lot. And Walter would say, every single time, Margaret, you are exactly right. I heard those words for 52 years as patient tolerance, the way you say exactly right to a wife you love and have stopped trying to argue with. What I understand now, at 84, sitting in the kitchen with 14 notebooks on the table, is that he meant them flatly. Exactly right. The right dosage, the right woman in the right house at the right volume. He was thanking me every single time for 52 years. I had been afraid for half a century that I was too much for him. I was not too much. I was the exact amount. He had chosen the exact amount in a Lansing parking lot in October of '63, and he never deviated, and he never told me, because he did not think I would want the job of being the cure. He was wrong about that part. I would have wanted the job. I would have been honored to have the job. I would have done it on purpose instead of by accident for 52 years. The marriage I thought I was apologizing for was the marriage that was holding both of us up. I had been wrong about who needed whom. I had been wrong about which one of us was the foundation. I had been wrong about everything except the love itself, which had been working beautifully the entire time, in spite of my misunderstanding of it. If you are still watching, here is what I want to tell you. Because I do not have time for general advice, and you do not have time to take it. Pick the quiet person in your life. You name them in Chapter 5. Your husband, your wife, your father, your grown son, the brother you call once a year, the mother-in-law you have been afraid of for 30 years. The next time you are alone with them, and I mean within the next 7 days, do one thing: put down the phone, close the laptop. If you are in the kitchen, turn off the radio. Sit across from them at a table where you can see their hands, and ask them one question. Not, "How was your day?" That is a question that lets both of you pretend. Ask them what they are thinking about. Tell me what you're thinking about. That is the question. 6 words. If they say nothing, and they probably will, the first time, do not let them off. Smile. Say, "I have all afternoon. I would like to know." And then wait. Quiet people are not empty. They are full. They have been carrying things in their heads for years that nobody has asked them to put down. They have been holding their breath at your dinner table since they were 11 years old. They have been the medicine or the foundation or the thing the whole family rests on without ever being asked what it has cost them to be it. When they finally start to tell you, and they will if you actually wait, do not interrupt. Do not turn it back into a story about you. Do not try to fix it. Do not say, "I had no idea," in a voice that makes them comfort you for not having known. Just listen. The way Walter listened to me for 52 years. It is not a one-time exercise. It is the rest of your life. You start with one question, one person, one quiet evening, then again and again. And by the end of a year, you will know the inside of someone you have been living next to for decades. Walter died 8 years ago. I did not ask him the question one time in 52 years of marriage. I did not know there was a question to ask. If I could go back, I would say 6 words to him on any morning, at any breakfast, over the newspaper. "Walter, tell me what you're thinking." I never said them. He waited the whole marriage for me to say them, and he died still waiting. Do not let your person die still waiting. I'm 84 years old. I am going to read you what Walter wrote on the first page of the first notebook now. December 28th, 1964. 2 months before our wedding, he was 27. He had known me for 14 months. He had asked me to marry him on the 2nd of December. We were going to be married on the 7th of February. He sat down that evening, I do not know where, and he opened a notebook he had bought at a 5 and dime, and he wrote 3 sentences. He wrote, "Margaret talks more than anyone I have ever met. I have decided that listening to her will be my life's work. I do not think she will ever know I am doing it." He kept the promise. He listened to me for 52 years. I never knew he was doing it. I've been reading the rest of the notebooks for 6 months. Some weeks I cannot open them. Some weeks I read 3 at a time. They are full of me. Small things I said, things I wore, things he watched me notice. They are also full of him, his sister, his mother's silence. The night I told him I was pregnant with Karen, the afternoon Lisa got her nursing license. The morning he found out his diagnosis was a stroke and not a brain tumor, and he cried in the truck in the hospital parking lot for an hour before he came home and did not tell me. I'm 84. I cannot give him back the question I should have asked, but the chain stops with me. I have started writing in a notebook of my own. I am writing to him. I am telling him what I am thinking about. It is the conversation we should have had every morning of our marriage at the kitchen table. If you have watched this video to the end, I am asking one thing. Right now, before you scroll, think of the quiet person in your life. You know who it is. You have known the entire time you have been watching. Tomorrow, before noon, Sit down across from them. Ask them what they are thinking about, and do not move until they tell you. In the comments, tell me who you sat with. I will read everyone. I am 84, and I have a lot of time to read comments now. Subscribe if you want me to come back and tell you what else I have been learning very late. And share this video with one person who has a quiet someone in their life. The marriage you think you are carrying might be the marriage that has been carrying you. The friend you think tolerates you might be the friend whose life you are holding up. You do not have forever to ask. None of us do. I did not have forever. Walter did not. He waited 52 years for me to ask him a 6-word question. He died still waiting. Do not let your person die still waiting.